break yourself, fool. Yes, what movie is that from, guys? Huh? Tell me in the chat. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Friday. Cedric's favorite movie.
Oh yeah,
No.
Friday. Actually, I was thinking
Is it?
no, because two things actually. I was thinking of something else. Forgot what it was already too. But
That's not the first movie that came to my head.
No, because he breaks through the current. He's like, "Break yourself, fool!" And Ice Cube's like, "Hey man, I was jerking off over here. What are you doing?" And then he's like, "I'll fuck your dick, man." And then they fuck each other. It's really cool.
You saw the wrong movie.
It's pretty good. I like that part. I think that Friday is one of the best gay movies ever out there. Because obviously Smokey and the fucking Craig were in love. Don't you think that? Think they're in love?
No.
I don't know, man. I feel like Smoker's a little, has some sugar in his booty, or whatever the fuck, whatever the thing that people say about that. Anyways, hey Jet, how you doing over here? Hi.
I'm tired.
So this is not a thing where we're gonna talk about quality of Justice League. By the way, I'm just letting you guys know that 4 hours is indeed too fucking long. We were watching it, we had to stop it, but 2 hours, I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. Like, don't ever do that shit again. You fucking comic book people, please. Jeez. And same with Martin Scorsese too, because if there's ever like an Irishman 2, which that's not gonna be the case, but like
Irishman 2 just keeps adding 3 hours. Irishman 4 is about 12 hours long. Don't worry, every second of that movie is absolutely necessary. It's just him in the shower.
Yeah. No, like legitimately, dude. It's like this is fucking ridiculous. And once again, it's totally not. That doesn't mean nothing about the quality of the movie, but Jesus Christ, very long. Chat though, they're saying someone says too fucking much. Yes, I agree, and that's not necessarily a thing about the quality either. Brightburn saying, do you think the best DC Comics film is The Dark Knight, and the best Marvel MCU film is Captain America with Winter Soldier? We'll talk more about that, but like right away, I'm gonna have you answer that, dude. What do you think is the best DC Comics film, and what's the best MCU film?
I will immediately answer the second one because I think the best MCU film is Civil War. Because I like Winter Soldier, but I feel like Winter Soldier doesn't really. It wants to be essentially like a James Bond, Jason Bourne, political thriller, and it doesn't quite get there. For me personally, it doesn't quite land it because it still feels too much like in the Marvel universe. Where as much as Civil War is even more in the Marvel universe, it really nails what it wanted to do. It wanted to be essentially like a political thriller, but in the sense of like what happens, like how do you deal with the consequences of what happened when the Avengers do their thing. Because that's the only movie in the entire MCU that acknowledges the event. It's the only one that acknowledges the destruction of New York and Sokovia and all the other places in that fucking in everywhere that goes on. Every movie, oh yeah, we're the coolest guys in the world. But Civil War's like, no, we're gonna acknowledge this shit, deal with the consequences, and it has everyone discussing it like as intelligently as you can.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight is my favorite movie of all time. But if you talk about it as the best DC movie, it's not. It's its own contained universe. With there, as far as the best DC movie, probably Tim Burton's Batman.
Ooh, that's a fucking unbelievably bad fucking.
And you gotta understand the reason I'm saying that is because The Dark Knight to me is a movie. It's my favorite movie of all time. It's not my favorite comic book movie.
Someone should clip that, by the way. I like that idea. Just with no context, I love that he just said, "To me, Dark Knight, it's a movie."
Yeah. No, it so because people, it's like, oh, my favorite movie of all time, Dark Knight. Oh, what's your favorite? It's like, and then I say my favorite comic book movie is The Avengers. Like I specifically make that distinction because the Dark Knight transcends its own genre and becomes a movie where it's like, yes, it's Batman fighting the Joker, but it could easily be Sherlock Holmes versus Moriarty. It could easily be rich man with a suit fighting crazy fucking homeless guy. Like. It transcends those characters. It transcends that medium. Whereas Tim Burton's Batman is very entrenched in the DC, live action movies. If we're talking about animated, that's a completely different discussion. But it's very much entrenched in there. Like people will probably I know a buddy of mine that would put Superman's Christopher Reeve Superman, the very first one, is probably the best DC movie.
Oh Jesus fuck yeah! Like I don't know, man. And once again, it's probably one of those things where I'm so far removed from the fan base or whatever the fuck, the fanaticizing of all these kind of things that maybe my opinions probably don't mean as much as someone like Alan or his friend that thinks Superman's good.
No, I disagree, but I agree with his sentiment of he really likes the character of Superman. And it encompasses Golden Age Superman extremely well. I don't like Golden Age Superman, but hey, to each their own.
But for me, I think one of the best movies, and I've said this a few times, and sometimes I feel like, okay, I could probably see how someone can win against me as far as my argument goes, but Iron Man is probably one of the best ones. I mean, Dark Knight was there before, but I think every time I see Dark Knight, I hate it. Like, I'm starting to get to a point where, like, I legitimately do not like that movie.
Yeah,
but I remember
I feel the same way
loving
about
it.
you.
Yeah, but I remember I loved it when I first saw it, but it's like I don't think I saw like because for me when I first saw it, and once again not to insult people, but like Jesus Christ, like despite like some things I feel like saying right now, I could be insulting you guys a fucking lot more. But like with the Dark Knight when I first saw it, I didn't all I knew was Spider-Man, and that was kind of silly sometimes, especially that Macho Man Randy Savage part where he's in the cage and he's flying over the fucking place with stupid webs.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, though, is like I loved Spider-Man, and that's all I knew, and it was cool with it being goofy because I'm like, oh, comic books, like this shit ain't no different than Jingle All the Way with Arnold being fucking silly, so I don't mind that it's kind of dumb. And then Dark Knight was like so serious. I was like, oh my god, I'm so glad there's something serious and straight up like a fucking actual fucking movie. This is badass. But then when I started seeing other movies do this, like you said, Winter Soldier or like fucking Avengers: Age of Ultron, blah blah blah, I go back and watch Dark Knight, and I'm like, okay, you set the pace for this, and it's cool that you're the first one that did it. But my God, like you did not age well because there's like 10 fucking movies since 2008 that have done what Dark Knight did, but did it better.
I fundamentally, wholeheartedly disagree. It's like saying, "Oh man, there are so many movies that did T2 better." It's like, no, T2 did T2 the best.
You're definitely right about that. But I'm saying like with Dark Knight, essentially what it did, let's just kind of put it out here like this, like what Dark Knight did was basically, you know, you get this goofy superhero aspect, but then you mix it in with something very, very serious and very surface level that's all of us can relate to, and it's kind of, you know, not necessarily scary, but it's like, holy shit, it's intense. Well, to be honest, that kind of happened with Black Panther to an extent. That happened
Not
with
necessarily because with the again, I don't want to go on a huge rant about the Dark Knight because I'm trying to stop myself because I'm like right at that fucking edge. But the thing about the Dark Knight is it's not necessarily it's trying to be realistic, it's being more serious, it's doing whatever. Is that the pacing of what it's doing within the movie from its tone from start to finish? It remains it consistent and doesn't feel the need to encapsulate various other tone shifts. Whereas Marvel movies, like we complain for them, people complain them being very formulaic because we see where the tone shifts need to occur, so that people aren't like either bogged down by the quote unquote seriousness, or they're like, oh, we don't want to be too goofy because we want this character to still be respectable and badass. But you see those tone shifts, especially where the action kind of comes in and the way they do the spectacles, where as the Dark Knight maintains that it keeps you that sense of dread, that sense of you're in the dark, even though you're following the Batman is supposed to be the protagonist, but he spends so much of that movie trying to catch up to everything that's going on, and you don't really ever see that with Batman. Batman's usually the person in the front, but like usually with these heroes, like, oh, they're on top of everything except for all the comedy throws them off. But like what the Dark Knight does with its tone, I still think is unmatched.
Really quick though, I'm gonna read some of the things in the chat here because people are saying, like better, no. Fucking someone said I fundamentally disagree, Nick. I understand that, Gene. He said that in the chat. You might say my favorite DC Comics movie is, and guys in the chat might disagree, but it's Aquaman.
Hey man, E-Mike, man, I respect you that you have the balls to say that. I love that movie. That movie's fantastic. But you have the balls to say that.
Jet's favorite movie, by the way, is 2017 Justice League. She loves that movie. She loves it a lot.
No, don't start with me right now. I'm already fucking tired.
But yeah, and really quick, so I want to read because I want to be as interactive as I possibly can because that's one of the things I always say about ourselves, that we are, arguably one of the most interactive people as far as streaming goes. And first off, E-Mike wanted to say something really quick. He says, I was about to read another fucking thing. And he says, remember we were talking about cartoons last night? I got one, China, Illinois. Jet, you being from Illinois, do you remember this show?
What the fuck is that?
No, I don't like that show.
What the fuck is this?
I did not like that show at all.
I like the head, like the drawings and the head designs of a couple of people there, but like for the most part, this is fucking awful. Feel the Wands, easy. Hey there, how you doing? Hopefully you're enjoying yourself over there in chat. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's an older show. I think it was like skits or whatever, like in the I think mid 2000s, and I think it got a revival of the full series in somewhere in the 2010s. I tried watching it again, thinking, okay, maybe I was wrong about it the first time I saw it. Nope, I still didn't like this show.
I mean, it's different. I definitely think that if you're a person who actually watched the show legitimately, and then you see this drawing or see the style, there's something that's never gonna leave your head. I feel like it's mute enough and simplistic enough that it can actually, I don't know, it has an identity. And that's one fucking big thing I can talk about there. Feel it though, saying what do you guys talk about? We're just answering some questions from the chat right now and just shooting the shit. But as far as what we're talking about later on, we're talking about Demon Slayer Season 1. possibly a little bit of the Zack Snyder Justice League thing, because we only watched the first 2 hours, which when that does happen, it might be later on in the show, because we're going to have to get rid of our boy over here, Alan. But yeah, there's tons of nerd shit we're talking about. Oh, Jade Raymond, that's another big thing we're going to be talking about tonight, too. But another thing that we're going to be talking about, and I don't know how to really approach this because I don't know too much about this, but Mauricio gave us some bits and he says, sorry to bring the show down, but can you talk about Georgia? Now, I think Georgia is a wonderful state. You know what I mean? It's nice. The weather's nice and blah, blah. No,
Terrible place.
Yeah.
Just in general.
No, but seriously, though, fucked up 8 people got killed in the shooting, and I'm pretty sure this is the same story I heard earlier about this guy saying, I killed him because I was having a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous, man. Like
I remember when I had a bad day and killed 8 people. That was something.
But like, so is this guy like is he like the first troller serial killer? Like, I mean, is he like? I mean, clearly he's like mentally fucked up, right? Or is he just being a dick? Like, cause that's
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I really hate that mentality of, well, they're clearly mentally ill. No, this guy just doesn't give a fuck about human life and decided he's just gonna go to fucking prison. If you look at this motherfucker's background, which they usually never do because motherfucker's white as driven snow, you're gonna be in a situation where it's like, oh, he's probably losing his job, or he's probably is on like some sort of depressive pills. But that's not a fucking excuse for what he ends up doing. He's just saying that because he doesn't have some fucking manifesto by some fucking bullshit like lizard god and decided, hey, fuck it, I'd rather go to jail than continue living my fucking life. He's probably going to commit suicide in jail, if not before.
He's a fucking coward. And like,
yeah, mental illness is like the first excuse they love to bring up when this stuff happens.
Especially if he's white.
Most of the time, it's not a mental illness. It's just straight up fucking racism and sexism, transphobia, homophobia. It's literally all those, but people try to make it seem like it's other things. No, it's just straight up like hate crimes.
Jesus Christ! Oh, sorry. Just to add to this whole situation too. He says, by the way, I heard a Trump supporter ran over 6 people in the Twin Cities. By the way, this happened too back in 2016 during parades and shit. They were doing that. So it was like, yeah, like it's fucking annoying. And by the way, too, you know what? Another thing that really pissed me off about that too is like somehow they have to still bring up Trump within that. Like, these people are terrorists. They're not like, oh, like this political thing versus another political thing. It's like, no, they're fucking psychos. They're not. Don't make the Trump other Trump supporters fucking like reward this guy with like praise. Like, yes, he did it for Trump. No, he's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. Well, that's what they always
end up doing. They try to shift it off of the individual by essentially putting it to some sort of organization. God forbid this dude was a Democrat, because they would have fucking used this as they would have used this to shit on Joe Biden for the 800th time. Yeah. But it's like saying earlier, it's like, yeah, when the dude's white, he's mentally ill. If he's Arab, it's ISIS. If he's black, it's thugs and crack and whatever the fuck this negative stereotypes they throw on. If it's Mexican, it's the cartel. Did I miss any fucking ethnic stereotypes? Like, yeah. Did I miss any? Because it's the same old bullshit, but then when they put mentally ill on there, it's like, oh, it's not really his fault. If he just had the better helps, like, you don't actually care about the people that died. You just try to find a way to essentially lessen the blame on this motherfucker.
Yeah, and that's the thing that really bothers me is like, let's put his fucking name out there. Let's say he fucking sucks. Let's not add anything, no sub-names, no surnames, no anything. Like, just let's fucking focus on the issue here. And the biggest thing about this, too, is like, I know that there's people going to be like, yes, kill him, give him the death sentence. No. Don't do that. That's a fucking way out. He wants to die. He wants to. Like, I don't know why people think that sometimes. They're like, oh, well, the biggest thing that we could do to him to fucking, punish him is killing him. It's like he gets a fucking break. He doesn't get to deal with sitting there and living a life of horribleness for the rest of his fucking eternity. I think that should be the main one. Life in prison. And not just like, not even like prison. Because, by the way, prison's actually pretty fucking nice sometimes. Like, they... It can be. Yeah, and it's like, and if you're psychotic and you're a nasty fuck, exactly, yeah, and if you're a nasty fuck and you're cool with it, you might like prison. You know what I mean? Like, they need to make a specific type of prison for motherfuckers like this. That is disgusting. Like, that's really fucking, like, not even comparable to any other particular camps of prison or layers of it or whatever. Because, yeah, dude, it's fucking frustrating. And once again, I would love to not talk about nerd shit for once. But I also don't want to talk about something so fucked up about this, too. Because it's just kind of like, yeah, dude, I don't know. I feel like on a small podcast like us, too, it's almost like a disrespect to the situation. Because we're not going to find the right words. We're not going to have a solution. We're not going to say the right thing or whatever, too. And there is no right thing to say. Fucking people died today. And yeah, what's still number 1 in trending? Zack Snyder's fucking Justice League. It's fucked up. Wrong priorities.
Because at the end of the day, people would prefer distraction than dealing with the real world. And that's how we get here. You know, it's like, hey, what's the top 10 things that are trending? Is this even trending? Did people forget about it? Are prayers and whatever sent in the mail yet? Like, you know, make sure they're fucking sterilized. Like it's just gonna get forgotten about. And you know, we're gonna have the fucking week and a half of gun control debate. Did he kill? Well, I mean, say people. I doubt he did anything else but use a gun. We're gonna get the fucking week and a half of gun control debates. Should we do something? Nah. And then until the fucking next one.
Matt Hundam, says, how amazing was Snyder Cut? Yeah, so later on in the show, we're going to be talking about whether or not it was good or not as far as like the first 2 hours. I can't really say too much here on the show because Alan's here. And I'm going to keep bringing that up, by the way, just to remind you guys, because whether or not this movie's good, it's fucking hilarious that Alan doesn't want a movie that he technically already saw.
Look, if it's a situation where like the movie literally hasn't even technically come out yet, there are going to be people that are not going to be able to watch it until tomorrow, which is when I will watch it. So, and because it's 4 fucking hours and how my life works, I literally won't be on the show tomorrow. So you could text me. I'll literally make a post. Hey, I fucking watched it. But it's like, you know, hey, I want to watch it at my own pace. I don't want to sit there and F movies it and be like, oh, trust me, if I was watching the Snyder Cut, I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, but you know, I'm seeing both positives and negatives. By the way, like that's one thing too that even made me want to watch the movie in the first place today is that Jet was basically like, yeah, I'm seeing literally every possible opinion just thrown out there. So it's like, yeah, there's no real, like, I mean, I'll give you this, Alan, if it makes you feel any better, there's really no particular, like,
consensus.
This movie's this. Yeah, there's no there we go, consensus.
Yeah, well, the thing about Josh Whedon's, I guess that we call it Josh Whedon's Justice League is there's only one redeemable scene in that 2.5 hours. That movie is almost unredeemable. There's one scene in the last like 2 seconds, but that movie is completely terrible. If you want to know what's that one redeemable scene in Josh Whedon's fucking whatever is after the Superman resurrection scene when Batman takes off his armor and he's in pain and bruised. I was like, oh, you actually showed a human Batman for once. Wow, that was cool. It immediately gets ruined by Wonder Woman, you know. And I was like, oh God, you're here. And then like go back to your other movie that was way better. And then it's like, okay, back to stupid bullshit. But it's the only scene in the entire movie that's like, oh, okay, that was okay. Back to this bullshit. Thank you for subscribing.
Yeah, thank you very much for the subscription there. I really appreciate that. That's Yasuba fan sister over there. So once again, thank y'all both. And just support in general, man. Anytime people are in the chat over here just shooting the shit, talking with us as well. You never tell me I'm fucking wrong about something. I really do appreciate you guys spending your time with us. Even if it's just for DT to start soon. But by the way...
even if it's literally just to pop in and say, hey, Nick, you're wrong about whatever current subject it is.
Yeah, fuck you. Don't make me spoil this fucking movie for you, dog. Batman's in it. Yeah, bitch.
Damn it! I wanted all this cover, bro. I swear to God, my favorite cover for a comic book ever has the biggest spoiler on it.
Really?
I gotta show this for y'all.
I gotta see this shit.
I like how whenever he gets up, he basically just disappears within his green screen.
I know. Goes right into the fucking logo.
My favorite comic book of all time, not because it's particularly like groundbreaking or whatever, but it's what got me into comics. It's Final Crisis, and I fucking love it. Somebody asked, like, "What's your favorite Batman?" Like whatever from anything. It's a scene in Final Crisis. This is the fucking cover of it.
I still don't know what the fuck's going on because
I don't. Can you tell what's on the cover of
that? Is he pulling his pants down?
No, that's Batman dead on the cover of the fucking comic.
Wow.
Spoiler! Batman dies in Final Crisis!
Oh, I couldn't see what that was. I thought he was reaching down in his pants. I was just like, why is he reaching in there?
No, he's holding his fucking, dead corpse after he fucking fights Darkseid. And I love it because I read it twice, and when I read it the second time, that's when I got the actual physical comic. So I'm reading this thing going, hey, my buddy's like, hey, Batman dies in it. I mean, of course you do. You have the cover of the fucking book.
But the biggest thing too about that too that I always find kind of odd is like like he'll die on that cover, but what a bigger spoiler is that he's just going to come back anyways because the fact that there's another issue and there's another this, another that, it's like no cover will ever matter. Like that's the silliest thing about
they do bring it back, and honestly, it was fucking terrible how they do it. But it's weird because it depends on how it doesn't necessarily take him coming back doesn't necessarily take away from the death because it depends on how he does very well. Again, it's one of my favorite comic book panels. The entire universe is about to fucking implode, and Batman pulls a gun, a god-killing gun, points at the Darkseid, and says, I made a very solemn vow about its firearms, but for you, I'm going to make a once-in-a-lifetime exception, and just shoots Darkseid. Like, that's
Wow.
fucking amazing.
Someone said that their favorite comic is actually Batman: The Long Halloween. I've actually never heard of this, man.
Yeah, I was hanging out with my buddies and stuff, and they're recommending it because I was always like, "Huh, what is the Long Halloween?" And they're like, "How have you not read it? You love the Dark Knight." Like Christopher Nolan, like has a transcript, like the transcript between him and David S. Goyer talking about how the Long Halloween helped inspired a lot of the Dark Knight's like pacing and flow, and a lot of the rooftop stuff and how it goes there. Because the Dark Knight, much like the Long Halloween, they're not like 2-3 days, because a lot of superhero movies like takes place over a weekend. It's a couple days and the fucking thing ends. But both the Dark Knight and Long Halloween, it's like months, where it's
Really?
like they're just
Okay.
dealing with this one story. And I never read it myself, but I definitely want to. I picked it up, and once I read through the Dark Knight Returns, which is fucking fantastic. Every time I read a word, I'm like, wow, this is really, really great. Too bad Frank Miller's a huge racist.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know about that at all. But goddamn, that was the case, man. There's always some kind of shit going on with somebody and their fucking
Yeah, I
goddamn.
know, but it's like overt. He thinks my people are like fucking like live in mud huts and haven't made it past the Stone Age.
So yeah, I don't know. But here's the thing, though, guys. So just so y'all know, we're gonna kind of. I mean, I do want to react to as many bits as I possibly can. But if you guys do send bits through our next particular segments, whatever, I'll make sure to come and answer them later on the show. So please stick with us. It's not just for analytical awesomeness for you to stick with us the entire time, but it's also like. If I'm too all over the place, dude, I'm just gonna get confused. I'm just too mentally tired today. I watched 2 hours of movie, so it is what it is. I want to let people know that shit. But are you down to do some reviews, Mr. Allen?
Of course I am, man. Blaze is in the chat. Been
Oh,
asking
yeah.
this shit for weeks.
Yup, that's true. I forgot about that. But no, I'm surprised I did, by the way. But this is good old fucking Demon Slayer. And we talked about this anime a while back, and even though we only talked about like the first few episodes, I think it was just the first episode, but it definitely left an impression on us. And I remember, I don't know if it was both of us, but I remember at least I said, like, yo, we're going to return to the series to review it as a whole. And it just, dude, I mean, we've been so busy, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been very, very hard for you to come back to watch this, but for me, it definitely was.
It's not necessarily. It's only because it's like there's so much other stuff to watch. Like I have my superhero shows. I have the other stuff I do in my life. But every time I sit down and watch it, I love what I'm seeing.
Yeah. But just to kind of, I guess, reiterate what the synopsis was, it's essentially centering around Tanjiro and his little sister Nezuko. And Tanjiro has been, taking care of his family ever since the death of his father. We don't really see too much about his father, in the show. But one day, after a night of him trying to sell some charcoal and shit, he comes back to his house, take care of his family, and basically, spoiler alert, by the way. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, y'all gone. He basically comes over here, and his whole fucking family's dead. Like, his immediate family, which is like, you would imagine, like, okay, if it's like a whole tribe or like a community or something, and his family's in it, maybe it wouldn't be as hefty of a load. But the fact that it was his immediate family just seems very, very personal, and the way they show
Yeah.
it, dude, it's like fucking heart wrenching, man.
Oh, they don't hold back. Like you see the fucking like kids gutted. Like they're pretty violent in the show.
Yeah, they really, really are, man. So yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy for me. Even watching that again, because I watched the episode again recently, just kind of like, okay, I want to remember how this was.
Yeah.
But he was warned beforehand that there was gonna be some demons out there fucking people up, and then they have been doing that for years. And now that this has affected him, there's one person who's actually still alive during this entire thing, and that's Nezuko, his little sister. And the thing is that she's not just alive; she's actually infected with what these demons do, because the demons, they will bite you or scratch you. I think it can be just a scratch. Actually, I know for sure it's just a scratch because something comes up later. But yeah, they can get scratched, and that's all it takes. It's not like some Walking Dead shit. Like, I mean, just a small scratch.
That's weird. It's like at first they tell you, oh, it could just be anything, but then later on they're like, well, actually, it's a singular person. Which that's probably my only criticism of this entire show. I think I only have one real criticism is I liked it at first where it's like, oh, it's like a zombie infection. Demons just appear. There are more powerful ones, but they're almost zombie-like demons. But the fact that it's like one dude just is bored and just starts creating random demons, I'm like, that really sucks. It's one guy. Like I never liked the whole this one guy is the cause of all the evil in this world.
Yeah, and I can totally see where you're coming from with that, because yeah, I mean, I like the show. I like the aspect of horror. I like the infectious aspect, like Alan over here. But I had a feeling that I wouldn't enjoy the concept of the main character Tanjiro being such a loving, positive-spirited person to have to keep from killing Nezuko, his little sister. Because when I put myself in that situation, I'd only not get rid of the fucking person because of just how dangerous they'd be to like other, innocent people that live within the community or whatever. But like also, as far as what we know about this demon shit or even about zombies, it might be painful to be that undead corpse walking around, with their bones fucking aging.
Oh, sure, but it's one of those things where it's sympathetic because you see that it's like he has nothing, and he has a lot of hope where it's like, look, demons have all sorts of weird, crazy powers and do all this, shit. Like people generally know, like they don't know every demon ever, but they know that demons can have powers as well. So the fact that he's like, wait, look, all this bullshit's happening. You're telling me I can't cure it? Like I can't do something to remove this? Like, come on, like there has to be something. And the fact that he sees like, if it was a situation where she's snarling and try to kill him every 2 seconds, like okay. But he sees that he got through to her a little bit. There's still a part of his sister that's in there, and that's especially what he's fighting for. Like, I don't know if Jet's gonna agree with me on this, but Tanjiro to me is the reverse Eren.
Well, actually, believe it or not, she didn't watch it.
Really? I thought
I
she
have
was
not.
with you. Oh,
This is one of the first times DS is watching anime that I did not need to push him into.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually quite surprising. But I guess for the rest of the chat, I've always felt that because for people that did not watch Attack on Titan, I highly recommend it. But basically, Attack on Titan, almost similar kind of zombie world. They break through. His mom gets fucking killed, and he vows to kill all the Titans. So his, family gets murdered. Not his family, his fucking mom gets murdered, and a bunch of his friends, and he's like, I'm going to kill all the Titans. Tanjiro's family gets murdered and goes, I don't want to kill them all. I just want to save my sister. In fact, he's extremely sympathetic to a lot of the demons, which is something you don't really expect. Because the basic premise of this is, and what I really liked about it is, they don't do the thing where it's like, oh, this guy was always super good at stuff. It's like, no, this guy's a fucking idiot. But as soon as his sister,
he
as
doesn't
soon
know
as
what
he
a
has his
train
goal,
is. That's how bad he is. Doesn't even know what a fucking train is. That threw me off towards the end where I was like,
but that makes a lot of sense though. Like, if you don't live in the city, how the fuck are you gonna know what a train is? But one of the things that I really liked about the show is that they put effort. I always give a show that puts effort into training because something I always hate. It's like, oh, this guy was always good and he trains for 2 seconds and he's the biggest person ever. He's the best at everything. No, this guy spends 2 fucking years before he even fights a demon.
Yeah.
2 years training his ass off, and he still gets his ass kicked because this is a fucking tough world to live in.
Yeah, and I was just responding to Brightburn over here too because I do think Samurai Jack is a show that people would like. I was a big fan.
Oh
of it,
fuck yeah, Samurai Jack is fantastic. Like it is, the amount of storytelling they get in 20 minutes is unrivaled.
Yeah, but to go back to this show or whatever, it's just like because I agree with you, and like that's one thing I wanted to touch on too because here's the thing that I was kind of worried about is like when I was into the show in the first episode or actually first couple of episodes, I was actually thinking like I know for sure that Nezuko was still going to be in the show, and I was hesitant to continue watching because I felt like, man, this ideology of continuing to keep her here, keep her alive, they're going to shove it down our fucking throats because that's how Tanjiro's character is going to be, liked and be so respected because he's such a fucking loving guy. And that's something I've hated about lots of things. I mean, that's something I didn't like about Hunter x Hunter a little bit with Gon. I didn't like that, it was like,
and you're wrong.
Once again, it's like, it's not even a wrong thing. It's just like a subjection of like,
sure.
I don't like, and I'll put it to wrestling, actually. It's the easiest way I can do it. Hulk Hogan, I can't stand. I hate that Hulk Hogan's like, yes, for the people, brother, blah, blah, and John Cena's like, never give up, children. Yes, I love you. I'll kiss your babies. I don't like The Rock because he's always trying to, like, placate to the fans too much. It's like, dude, like, I'm not saying I want nothing but villains and shit, but, like, even with Superman, one of the things I really liked about 2017's Justice League is that they finally show Superman as kind of a badass, and they kind of show you how scary he could be. And that's why I actually was really excited about Brightburn, because I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I get to see, evil Superman, because with so much power, that's what would happen. Like, they would be evil, they'd be scary. It's like, what the fuck? And thank you for, I fucking love CM Punk. But anyways, so that's the thing. It's like I like characters that are just kind of surface level where they do have certain things that they're not great at, whatever. But I felt like over here and in Demon Slayer, Tanjiro, he was just like, I'll do whatever it takes. I love my sister so much. I can't fucking take her down because she's a demon and she's still there somewhat, and that's cool and I get that. But like it was an issue. But then we get into episodes like from 4 to 8, and that's something that Alan brought up a little bit ago about the training. Dude, what do you think about the training? Because for me, I feel like it was excellently paced. I fucking loved the training and how they did it.
I was surprised at how much effort they put into it, because to me, this is like watching Naruto or Dragon Ball Z. Because the amount of effort they put into training is like watching it was like if Rocky was an anime.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm watching this going, and the time skips. I was like, thank God. This is a situation where he picks up a sword. He's the chosen one. It's like, no, he's a fucking idiot who keeps getting almost murdered every 2 seconds. Because guess what? The amount of training, how tough it is it showcases how much the threat is. And it's like, it's sometimes a situation where it's like you, first, I don't think Hunter x Hunter has really any flaws, but it was a situation where he was already extremely good at, dealing with stuff. So when the threats happened, they had to be even better than him, and they paced it really well. But you see him at first, you're like, how is a threat really going to take this kid down? Okay, we see the threat takes this kid down. But the fact that we get to see the individual training, it's episodes. Like, we say 2 years, it's not one episode. It's like 3 or 4 episodes of we see this dude training before he even gets to close to fighting a demon. And we get to see how his perseverance continues, and you get that sympathy from this character because it's like, yeah, if again your loved one gets bitten by a zombie, but you have a chance to save them, are you not going to at least attempt it? Like, because there's plenty of times where it's like he wants to give up, but he's like, hey, she's fucking in a box right now, and I have to fucking like save her life.
Yeah, and really quick about the training, or at least towards the post. Aftermath of the training. I really like the final selection storyline that they're going on for a little bit there, because as the last of the demon slayers are trying to make it through this like particular train stage, like after he trains himself, because he fights a couple of demons, but then it's like, okay, well, you're still not all the way great yet. By the way, Bailey Reed, thank you very much for that follow on the Twitch. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so he goes Tanjiro, and I think I've been saying it wrong the entire time. Someone correct me in the chat there. So Tanjiro, not Tanjiro. But anyways. He fucking makes it through this entire area. Him and a few other demon slayers are called the final selection. And somewhere around there, he fights this fucking huge-ass demon.
Oh, yeah.
But he saves somebody, though. Like, he saves this other person, which you would think, like, once again, this goes to what I was complaining about earlier about, like, can you stop with the fucking, the kissing of the ass of just like, hey, this guy's so great. But the thing is, though, it kind of makes up for that and the surface-level relatability for me, because that demon slayer that he saved, who's also not a bad guy, he's just a victim in this situation, this circumstance. He actually doesn't like save Tanjiro like in response or whatever. Like he doesn't reciprocate what Tanjiro did for him. And I was like, wow, that's honestly pretty fucking realistic, because a big monster that Tanjiro is fighting, it would make sense that someone actually wouldn't go over there and help him out because it's fucking threatening, and that really gets the character over. And once again, in terminology for wrestling fans and people who are not wrestling fans, getting someone over is essentially a situation where you have a character do something that makes them look powerful or important. And, you need to, either he has to kill somebody to get that point across, like I'm something to be fucking not messed with, or someone's reaction has to be so authentic enough where you can do the same thing without having a character die. And I gotta tell you, dude, like the voice acting and people just running away, I was like, that was fucking awesome. And from that point, I was like, that's twice that the show has done this now. Because in the very beginning, when Tanjiro's family died, it was like the show got itself over. Because now, at any point in this show, because of that first episode, dude, I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't predict how intense the show's gonna get, because we've already seen something more intense than, honestly, for me personally, I haven't seen that in anything else other than Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things that really got me in the show is that one little clip where he's like holding, his sister back with the wood, and he's like pleading with her. I'm like, this show has its moments, and what I like about it is because like Attack on Titan, like it's getting now emotional, but like Attack on Titan was always about like kill them all, like God sort them out type mentality, where people were dying left and fucking right, and it's like these kids are so underpowered, and Eren is the biggest, most useless fucking idiot in the goddamn world, and Eren is the worst character on that show. Easily. I don't think anyone's ever gonna fucking fight me that Eren is the worst character on Attack on Titan. Everyone else is more interesting. And I know I keep comparing the two, but I can't get over it where it's like Tanjiro is sympathetic to the people he's fighting. He cares about the people around him, and he's trying his best. He works with the people in there, where it's like Eren just doesn't do any of that fucking shit. Eren doesn't think, he just runs in bullheaded. Where what the biggest thing that helps the shonen separate itself from other shonens, and for people who don't know what shonens are, they're essentially the Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, My Hero, where it's like you deal with this, one main character who has this special thing that makes them, more unique, and they go up against big, interesting bosses. And the thing with this is like, how does he go against every single demon? And they're always creative. It always involves his training. You see the steps that took to get there, so you're almost like, oh wow, I've seen you grow, and you get to see him grow even more. So it's very similar to the Goku, the original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. But one of the things I like about it is afterwards when he kills the demon, if it's a personal kill, you go into the backstory of the demon. And that's something that you don't expect. Where it's like every single demon that gets killed by him, because demons die by other people and they don't really show the past. But every single time Tanjiro kills a demon, you get to see this very sympathetic, not necessarily to redeem them, but to show it's like your enemy is still human.
And this is why it's so hard for him to do this too, because like you probably think like, oh, he's such a good guy, but it's like, no, let's live through his brain to see like, no, this would hurt to know someone's memories and to feel all that sadness of even being a demon and being killed. It's like that's how they're getting the point across why this dude isn't going around just fucking up demons all day, because this shit sucks, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it also does the thing that's like, like Attack on Titan, like eventually you figure out what the deal is. But it also does the whole actual human thing of like, look, it's always easy to say, oh yeah, kill the enemy's country, yada yada, shoot, everyone that's different than me, yada yada. But at the end of the day, they're people. It's like, yeah, they're deplorable. That each one of them is like they give out numbers how many humans they ate, so they're deplorable, unredeemable people. But you see, at the end of the day, they're still people. And it's like he even says it's like at one point someone calls him out. He goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you like sympathetic?" He goes, "Look, I will kill every single goddamn one of them, but don't expect me to trample on what they used to be. They used to be people just like me." Because at one point, like somebody helps him out, and they're just stomping on the old clothes because they die like fucking Jedi. And he's like trying to fucking show some respect because it's like, hey, at the end of the day, they were people, and I will respect that. So it's like he's very bullheaded, but he has a heart of gold, and I love that.
Yeah. And normally I don't, but honestly, I kind of agree with everything that Alan said right there. I mean, I do think that, like, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. And here's the thing: I want to kind of rewind back just a little bit, but you will notice that chronologically, I'm going to be incorrect here as far as this certain character I'm about to bring up, because there's certain points where I feel like other parts of the show make her character a little bit more to deal with or easier to deal with. But like, I gotta say, I enjoy the use of what's her name, Nezuko. The little
yeah.
Because
I surprised. I honestly thought they were gonna keep her just in the background. Oh, she's just gonna be this thing I gotta save, but they do some cool shit with her.
Now, see, that's the thing. I didn't think that was the case. I was expecting the opposite, because I was like, she's a pillar of the show. She needs to be that thing that Tanjiro keeps like bringing up or hanging out with, whatever, so we can still like him. But the thing is, though, is that it's also a situation where the show and the writers knew not to shove her or the ideology of keeping her alive down our throats. So she takes a rest for a while, and instead of focusing on her, we're focusing on Tanjiro's like training and him meeting other characters and villains. I mean, dude, I gotta tell you, like the way they paced Nezuko, it was so brilliant. But what did you feel about how they did that? Was it too much for you or too less?
It was surprising because I expected it to be. It's like, oh, she's the little girl, so we got to protect her, right? And it's like, for the most part, it is that, but it made a lot of sense. But it was never that situation, because one of the things I always worry is like, oh, it's gonna be the focal of every single fight. Gotta make sure she's okay. Gotta make sure she's okay. I gotta fight half fucking speed to make sure she's okay. But no, like they basically put her in a situation where it's like, yeah, she's in a box a lot of the time, but when she comes out, you mean business. Like, and then she does cool shit. She's not like a situation where she's like this helpless damsel. It's like he is trying to keep her safe and protect her, but she'll come out and she'll fuck shit up. Like there's a fucking the demons they fight with the balls, and you're like, oh, these are bouncy balls. No, motherfuckers are dying left and right. And she comes out and it was like, holy shit! Like you are a powerhouse. But because of the fact that she's like she doesn't like feast, she sleeps to gain her energy as opposed to eating humans. That's one of the things that's like, okay, he could still save her because she's gone this long without eating anybody. But she gets tired really easily. She'll like pass out for like fucking 3 months. But when she comes out, it's like, okay, she means business, and she always does something cool. Every time she goes out of that box, she is doing something cool. But they never take away from the fact that, yeah, she's also a kid. Like she does some very kid stuff, but you do like the tension. They break the tension with her a couple times, but I like it because the show can get very intense.
Well, that's the biggest thing too. I want to bring up really quick as well is the fact that, like, for me, I really like her character, but I mean the reason why I brought this up over here, Tanjiro, is I love that, and I forgot the names of the other characters that I brought up, but when he's in that final selection area, as far as the story goes, there's these other characters talking to him, and I was really enjoying that because, before and after the episode, we got to see these characters added, and I was expecting that it was going to be like mainstays, but they weren't. They even allude to like some kind of romantic interest between him and some girl. Then we find out that the person's actually dead, even when he was talking to her. It was like a ghost or something. And Corey's calling me. And when Corey is in the show, Corey does this thing where he talks about movies, and then Nick Diaz gets mad. So I'll be right back, and I had to figure that out.
Yeah. But to jump onto the characters, because we're going to try our best, even though we technically done a couple spoilers, we're going to do our best to make sure we don't go into heavy so that you guys can watch it, because we recommend it. And where are the reviews? So we are the Double Toasted pre-show, the reviews for the movies when they go, which he just got a call. So expect another 15-20 minutes before Corey and the crew go on to talk about Winter Soldier and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Right now, we're currently reviewing Demon Slayer, but Nick brought up a bunch of stuff about characters. One of the things that I didn't really like is like weird because they added a couple new characters to the crew. Zetsu, who's just a screaming fucking idiot.
Oh yeah,
every
I was
line
about
of
to bring that up too. Yeah, because like
oh
this
my
motherfucker.
god, he's so annoying.
Because you guys gotta keep in mind too that like leading up to this, we're dealing with like a horror tonality and all this crazy shit, and then fucking Zenitsu comes up and like this dude got on my fucking nerves. I mean, complete with the crying shit. You know what I mean?
Will not shut up. Like literally, I had to just turn the volume down every time he's on screen. Like, yo, I'll read your shit, but I'm not hearing you. And runs away. I'm like, dude, your friend's almost dying trying to save your stupid ass. Do something.
Because keep in mind too, it just reminded just a little bit too, because and I really want to get your opinion on this, but we even get like this this main villain, and I forgot his fucking, I think it's like Muzan or something.
Oh yeah. That dude.
Yeah,
Muzan.
Muzan,
That dude's cool as fuck.
Kipasuji, this fucking dude right here. He is fucking badass, and like for me, because I mean, the first thing I thought was like, okay, this is gonna be the guy that we can't stand, that we want our hero to defeat. That's unnecessarily evil, like most animes, but the way he's talked about, especially just the way we actually see him in public places, like in this screenshot over here, yeah, I feel like it was pretty cool to see how quick he can start chaos, and then like he's kind of humanized because of his legitimate human family, and I thought that was pretty cool, and what he does to like innocent people, it once again, just like that first episode, man, it's like what the fuck, like this scares, not scares me, but it's like intensity, man. Like it's selling you on you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. So you have that going on, and then you have you know this very dark fucking shit going on, and then right after all these episodes, and they're like right after another, then we get that stupid shit with Zenitsu, and I feel like at that point, that's when I first started saying, okay, I'm starting to have issues with this show. Yeah. Did you think that was like poorly timed, or you think we needed this guy to come in because it was so dark?
Oh, I legitimately think he's the worst character, but I can't believe I'm saying this. At least it's some snivelly little dude. Because I swear to fucking God, if they were going to sit there and be like, oh, hey, we're going to put a female character in here to be the sniveling fucking crybaby, I would have hated the show way fucking more. But the fact that they just take one of the main characters and essentially demasculate a male character in an anime, I was like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I can live with this. Because they had one of my favorite characters in the show, the dude with the boar head.
Yup, fucking Inosuke. Yeah, I love this guy.
This like dude is like if Naruto and Sasuke became one character.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, because he's jokey as well, but he's like a badass too. It's like you don't really know where they're really going with this, because at first his introduction's amazing, because you think it's gonna be. I mean, they go in this fucking mansion, and it's all like a fucking this crazy horror puzzle.
Oh, that's one of my favorite with demon encounters, because that shit was cool as hell.
Yeah, it was scary as fuck, but he's in there, and you think he's scary at first, and then you find out he's just a dude who fucking likes competition, likes to be a badass, likes to do whatever, and he's heroic, but he's also like, he pulls no fucking punches. He's a badass motherfucker, and he likes.
But he has this like fucking, to me, Nick, that's you. This character is you. Because he has the, swear to God, he has the weakest ego in the world going, anything you can do, I can do better. You fucking headbutt that tree. Starts fucking bashing a tree. I'm like, bro, like, calm down on the PCP. Like, you're fucking freaking out. He gets sliced up and he's fucking like bleeding and shit going, I'm perfectly fine. Motherfuckers have to tie him up to a tree. This dude is nuts. And the thing is like, what actually happens is that character kind of, when that character is always so nuts. But when he stops being nuts and he's sad, I felt for him. I'm like, man, are you okay, buddy? Because he's like, I'm fine. I'm like, you're not fine. You're really fucking upset. Like, I want you to get back to your craziness because you added a level of comedy to the show that I felt was needed. It wasn't too overbearing, but it was enough where it's like, yeah, this guy's really energetic, but he adds this sense of competition and just overall fun to a show that tends to be very dire and very sad a lot of times.
Yeah, and to take it back to fucking like Zenitsu, because I do want to somewhat, I guess, correct myself in one way, because once again, very goofy, lots of jokes, lots of crying. I mean, a ton of fucking crying. Very typical over-exaggerated reactions to things, including pretty girls, whininess, cowardice. You know, but this continued for a couple episodes, and then there was even another character dropped in, which is the guy with the boar's mask. But then you find out that Zenitsu is actually fucking super badass because he has an alter ego. And I didn't really, like, I feel like, because, I mean, once again, I'm working, I'm doing a bunch of shit on my end, and sometimes, I don't pay attention, but I don't really understand the explanation. I know they did try to explain it, but, like, what is his alter ego? And, like, does he know, or, like, I don't know, it was, like, weird.
It's not necessarily an alter ego, but what it is that his backstory was he's a complete fucking idiot, but his backstory is that he lost his he got into debt, and the person that was training him was like, "I'll pay off your debts. You become a demon slayer." So I could transfer my skills over. He was really bad at it, except for one particular skill set. But the thing is that the only two times we see him use it is when he essentially falls asleep. But I think that's what it is that he is like almost like half dazed, where he just like it's just overwhelming. He passes out and is just focuses entirely on his training, where it's like his reflexes kick in, type shit. Where he does incredibly like cooler shit that sometimes the main character does. Where it's just like, oh, thank God, that's what saves that character from being completely irredeemable. Him just like he has his moments, but it's like he still can do some of that stuff. But the fact that he has zero confidence in his skills, it takes him essentially passing out and almost dying to do anything cool.
Yeah, and one thing, and we'll skip over this kind of quickly, but like they do a couple episodes, and I like how like if you wanted to, you can watch this whole show in certain parts because there's like arcs inside the arc, which I think is pretty interesting. But we started getting into the whole talk about Demon Slayer corpse or whatever, and or core. I don't know how to say that word. Is it corpse or core?
I believe it's both, but I just gotta go with that spelled corpse.
But they had the Spider Group, which is essentially like a family, but then you find out it's kind of like a fake family. I don't know what the fuck going on here. But I love how they did this. I love these storylines, and I felt like once again, and this is where you started seeing certain things about the show where I was like, okay, now I gotta call bullshit on a couple things because they have these strains essentially where they get to control the people, but they're not strains or spiderwebs, hence the whole spider family situation here. But the thing is though is that when they're fucking people up, they get even Nezuko in like a really precarious position where it's like, oh shit, like she could die here, and many people can die here, and yet as far as our main cast here, no one does. And that's when I was like, okay, so I see what you're doing here. And I kind of called this a few months ago. But that first episode was so intense that they used it to their advantage. They're very smart how they wrote this. But the way they wrote it was essentially kind of like, and I hate to bring it up again, The Walking Dead. Where it's like, if you can do a couple of really big deaths or a couple of big moments, you're always like, you can't predict what's going to happen. So you're on the edge of your seat the entire thing. But then you watch it back, nothing's happening. No one's actually in any immediate danger. And I feel like right after this whole spider situation here, I was like, yeah, now I'm not afraid for anybody anymore because someone should have died here, if not all of you.
I disagree only because it's the fact that it's like a lot of times when you watch these shonen animes, especially when they have essentially the brightly colored characters, because randos die all the time. Like that, in particular, the spider stuff, they show a lot of randos. Like, oh hey, you're all wearing the exact same color. That means you're all expendable. Like there's a clear difference between the expendable characters and the non-expendable characters. Where it's like, I wasn't at any point going, oh, is anyone here going to die? It's like, no. It's how are you going to evolve your character? Because after that point, Zetsu still maintains a lot of that annoying stuff, but it lessens because he eventually realizes, hey, if I keep this up, I'm going to die. So let me try to scale it back. And you see this kind of steady decline of his character changing because it's essentially what happens is the motivation to become a better person, to become a better character. Because Chandra, like, he's still focused on that, but he understands even he has his limits, and that's what he learns. He learns he has his limits, because that encounter, he doesn't succeed. He almost fails. And then Nezuko's like, oh, you realize, okay, she's not just going to be this one and done situation, just pop out whenever necessary. She's also getting new abilities. And then that's when you have the board guy where it's like, yo, man, I'm a fucking loser. Like, I barely did anything. That was the lowest point for some of those characters, so that they eventually can become better versions. Like, I was at this point, like, I'm not gonna watch it going, oh, is these guys gonna die? It's like, no. How are they gonna overcome their personal triumphs, like their personal demons?
Yeah, and one thing I want to bring up too, really quick, because I know we skipped over this, but once again, you guys will see why. You get to learn more about Muzan, which is important and everything. But then one thing I actually really enjoyed is that we get to learn more about Nezuko and the fact that somebody that Tanjiro gets, or Tanjiro, yeah, I said it right. Whatever, I keep screwing it up. But like, he basically gets a hold of somebody who's technically a doctor within this world that's also a demon, and we find out that there actually is a cure for what Nezuko has, this demon shit. But kind of has some issues with that. Firstly, why is this like the first time that a cure is being brought up, and that these people that are demons or fighting demons or going through everything that Menzu is doing to them, etc. They never thought about curing the demon shit until
no one's ever came? I mean, you're correct. Literally, no one's ever tried it because every demon has been this evil, I'm going to eat children, and every human is like, murder them all. We don't give a fuck. And there's this one, like, she's literally one of the only demons that isn't directly under the control of the main dude. and she's just like, look, man, I've thought about it, but I don't have the fucking power, the skills, or whatever to get it. It's even she's like, well, maybe I could pull it off, but I need to do more research. That's when she gets, our main character, because our main character, he's the first person that she's ever met that is willing to essentially cure a demon. Because most people that see a demon murder it on sight. That's what the go-to is. It's a situation where it's like, imagine tomorrow on The Walking Dead, you meet a random dude who goes, I'm trying to cure zombies. Going, wait, what? You could cure a zombie? We've had 11 seasons of zombies being these like monsters, and you have to cure it? Everyone would laugh that person out the room. This is the first time that anyone's ever given a fuck.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, like, that's something that they didn't probably have to explain, but for me, I'm already like 18 episodes in, and I'm like, wow, like, this is the thing. And it's just, I don't know, it was weird to me, especially considering the fact
but
that,
it's not easy, It kind of just shows that this isn't fruitless.
Yeah, true. And I mean, I thought that was cool too, because then it adds another layer of like, oh shit, like we're gonna build it to a lot of stuff. We're kind of nearing the end of the show. We only got like 8 episodes left. This can be pretty cool because either she's gonna come back to be a human, or the cure is gonna fail. Maybe Muzan gets involved in it. Who knows? But like, this could be very, very big for this show's universe. Yeah. And then certain things kind of start falling in that sense too, because this is where pretty much I'm gonna wrap everything up here.
Yes.
For me, aside from all the amazing fights here, the really incredible pacing, and even the fact that you can touch on so much horror tonality and still consider the watchability people who just want some levity and jokes to be in there or whatever, it's super cool. I enjoy that. However, the way they end the season, building up, talking about a cure, all that shit, how the fuck are you going to end the show off with Tanjiro walking up to a train with Zenitsu and Inosuke, and they're just going to go, hey, we're going to go find that asshole Muzan, and then end the shit, and then literally the fucking show ends. That shit pissed me the fuck off, dude.
No, that's the end of a saga. That's usually how a arc finishes off, where it's like we do the training part, where it's like, hey, we train these guys and now they're at a new power level. They now have a basically forward-moving direction where they have to, like, personal stuff where everyone's trying to figure out what their personal goal is. Right now, it's like, hey, Tenjiro has to meet up with this dude to figure out what the fuck flame fire breath is to get more, more powerful. But they have their mission hasn't changed. But this was, especially when they get to the Spider-Man, I'm like, you guys are wrapping this up in 7 episodes. If you are, it's going to be terrible. Like, I expect this to be another arc or two, and then you're gonna, finish off the character, and that's it. Like, this is one of those situations where it's like Hunter x Hunter almost ends the same way. Like, where it's like, hey, I got you end the training arc, and then you set up for a new series, a new season, when the movie is probably gonna tell, explain more, and then you do season 2. But this ended exactly where I expected it to, exactly where a lot of these shonen animes end, where it's like, we have a forward-moving direction. These characters got to a new power level. They all leveled up. So now we get to see what else they're gonna do.
And you're right. I mean, you're honestly no, like, you're super right. Because I'm trying to find a way to be like, well, you're right, but you know how I am at this point. We've known each other for so long. But there is a but on it, because you are correct. But then it's like, it always goes down to just what Marvel does with cliffhangers, etc. too, where they don't want to finish the story. Dude, the movie came out last year, October, and it's going to arrive here
It's
June
in Japan,
22nd.
so it's about to hit North America in like a month.
Yeah, theatrically in April, and then we're gonna get on DVD or whatever, or digitally at least at June 22nd. But that's what this is like, yeah, I know that we're gonna get the closure that we need, everything through like the movie, or maybe there's gonna be a second season. But Jesus Christ, like, this is one of the lamest, annoying ways to fucking end a show that you could have given closure to at least one item of story, because. Yeah, I mean, you left everything so open. Like, it's not even that it feels like I'd even finish a fucking 26 episode fucking series, and because of that, I'm giving this a 4. Because the first episode, and 4 out of 5, by the way. But yeah, the first
4 out of 10. This shit was terrible.
No, it's definitely not in that sense. But like, the first 12 episodes was damn near perfect. I think you got a little bit goofy later on, whatever. But the writing was phenomenal again. Then it get a bit boring, which was okay. It's forgivable. But then to continue on the trajectory of just back and forth quality, and then to end off with such a fruitless note, it literally makes me not want to watch the movie that's going to come out, to be honest. Like, I fucking love this anime. I really, really did. But I feel like it's not worth something. I can't invest into bullshit like that. Like, yeah, it's a 4 out of 5. If you do watch it, you'll enjoy it. But whatever you do not go out of your way to watch this, because you're going to feel like unsatisfied. And it's not fair to the writing of the story. It's not fair to your time watching the entire thing or binging it. Because I binged in a very small amount of time. I was really excited because there's 4 fucking things you could have done at the end and did none of them. And it's like, okay, so is that going to happen with the movie? And then is that going to happen with season 2? Is that going to go on forever? There's a show that Jen made me watch, this love fucking romantic anime show, and I keep forgetting the fucking name of it. But, like, what was it? Nozaki-kun or something. What was that, Jet? Do you remember what it was called? Well, shit. I don't think
Right.
Nozaki.
Nozaki.
Jed's
Yeah.
dead.
But what was like the full name of it? Because I feel like I'm missing out like a lot of the title. Like Monthly
Weekly
Girls
Girls,
Nozaki.
yeah, Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun.
Okay, like that was another one where it's like there's tons of story there, and let's just take my subjection of like, oh, I don't like this because of romance, blah blah blah, whatever. It's like let's just take that off. The thing is though, is throughout the entire thing, there's little bits that you could have done like, oh, she loves him this way, or she has a crush on him this way, or he's like this, blah blah blah. Just little pieces you put there, and it ends off with such a fruitless like, it will continue outside of what you're seeing right now. It's like, god damn it, like I just want one thing, just kiss, or fuck, or fart, and you can do nothing. I hate shit like that. It makes me it makes me regret the whole watch. But this is a 4 out of 5 for me, Alan. I don't know if you disagree with me or not, but go ahead.
I will fundamentally disagree with you because this is how shows work, where there's no like this is a situation where they clearly have a plan what they're going to go for. They've been extremely like intelligent with how they managed to like pace the story. Like this character is gonna have to go through a lot of level ups before they're gonna be powerful enough to defeat the main dude. Because every fight he's gone, he's won by the skin of his teeth. Hell, he's broken his bones as many times as Deku's going. Shit, man. I know what you like. He's looking at it, going, I know it gets better. Like, cause that motherfucker breaks so many bones, he might as well be in My Hero. But like, you're watching My Hero, and every season ends. Where it's like, yeah, it ends in a situation where it's like, this isn't a fruitless watch. This is an incredible watch. Where it's like, when the end of it, it's like, no, that's not a fruitless endeavor. That's a, hey, don't worry, we're not gonna sit there and rush a fucking ending because we only want this to be 30 episodes. We're gonna basically, hey, there's more story to be told, and to me that excites me. Like, I can't wait to see that movie. I can't wait to see if there's going to be season 2. I'm not sure how many seasons it's going to have. It might be a 3 or 4 season anime, which, hey, that's fine by me. As long as you keep it exciting. As long as you're able to keep it interesting. Because the most interesting thing about it is how do you defeat every demon. Because my favorite one was the dude that was a musician. Where he was just fucking, playing the bongos and it was fucking the entire environment up. Like, Christopher Nolan was probably looking at that going, shit, I'll make a movie about this one day.
I know,
like,
right? Yeah, it's a very not Inception, but something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you got it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, this is straight up Inception. Like, he's gonna look at this going, fuck. But I loved every second of it. And when he sees the train for the first time, I was just thinking this is like the end of season 1, where Gon and his buddies, like, they're going around the world to explore the world, because we never explored the world. We explored like this fucking one neighborhood. What's the rest of this world like? Are there big cities? Like, we saw like a decently big city, but are there big metropolitan areas? Are there cars? Like, what is this world? And I can't wait to explore it, because that's always my favorite part. You gave me a basic enough plot where it's like, I know what you're going for and I know that's the villain, but you're branching it out in ways that I love. You're exploring the world. You're giving these characters something to do. Every character that's on that team has a reason to be there. You're giving me sympathy for his sister, but not making her as this object that needs to be coddled. She does have her own skill. She's gonna have her own arc. Like, when she ever even starts speaking, like, is she gonna start walking around with them when she gets more control? Like, I want to see what ends up happening with that. I want to see how Chandro's able to go with that. Like, he's not as, like, I think Inosuke is way more interesting because he's just way fucking funnier. But everyone here has something going for them, and it's like I wasn't able to watch as consistently as I'd like. But every time I watched an episode, I was like, oh shit, I gotta watch 2, I gotta watch 3. So this was a very, very easy watch. Not like, Evangelion, which I literally watched an episode a week because it was so fucking dreadfully dull. And that movie sucked. Yeah, many of my review of Demon Slayer would say the end of Evangelion was trash.
Jen, I don't know if you agree with that, because you seem to really have a good time watching that with him, I believe. Is that what you guys were watching the other day? I fucking forget.
Yeah, it was fun. Oh, my dude. I honestly almost wanted you to be there, but you would have had an aneurysm.
Yeah, probably. You just fucking...
Oh, he would have, but I still like the movie.
You legit do, or are you just saying to piss him off?
No, I actually do like that movie.
Okay, see? Alan, you're wrong, man.
Oh yeah, okay, you're right. You know what? I secretly enjoyed that movie, and all it took was Nick Diaz saying I'm wrong.
There you go. See, now you know how this works. Like, if
any fucking way. Surprisingly enough, I'm gonna give it the same score you did, because it's one of those things where it's like I like it, but I feel like it's weird because Hunter x Hunter kind of ruined me, because I think Hunter x Hunter is a better shonen. Where this show is fantastic and art style is amazing, and I love when they do because the humans don't really have magic. They have their own versions of it, but every time they're doing like the water breathing techniques, they always do this very overt watercolor, like this very overt 3D, movements on there, and I love that shit because it made it so colorful. And otherwise, like the main characters are colorful, but the world itself is trying to be realistic. But having the fucking swirling colors was phenomenal to watch. Seeing how it changed between who was doing what, like the fire and electricity, and I can't wait to see the other powers. But at the end of it, it's like I'm watching this going, this is good. It's all very, very good, very, very well done. But I got a lot more emotion. I got a lot more stuff out of other stuff, like Hunter x Hunter. It's like I don't necessarily think Hunter x Hunter is better. I think it's better in other ways. But that's why I'd give this a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Okay, well I'm glad we actually agree on that. Granted, I feel like I'm like on a negative spectrum of 4 out of 5, but at the same
You're
time,
like a lower, I'm a higher. Like this would almost be a 4.5. But like I don't even necessarily like know what I would want. I think that it's like I've watched so many of these that it takes a lot for me to like, oh, this is amazing, because it's like I see Deku in here, I see Naruto in here, I see Gon in here, I see Goku in here. I see the characters because a lot of these shows are very formulaic. You have your main character who's this heart of gold, but he's kind of an idiot. Then you have the useless character, but then you have his kind of rival who's his best friend. Like you see a lot of this stuff, and it's like you've watched My Hero, so you could pick like My Hero fucking characters for everyone in these roles, and it's like you see so many of them. It takes a lot to really impress you.
Yeah. But that's going to be a review for that. So I do want to talk about the Jade Raymond thing or whatever in a little bit. Or maybe we'll see how long this next thing is. But Alan, I'm going to ask you to leave for just literally 2 minutes. I'm going to message you as soon as we're done.
Sounds good.
Okay. So Alan's gone. People, are you guys ready? We're going to talk about some Justice League, the Zack Snyder's cut, for a fucking second. Jet. Firstly, I just want to apologize for making you fucking watch this. Although it is a podcast, we have to fucking watch these things. But my God, boy, do I feel fucking stupid. This is something fucking fierce. But Jet, really quick, where are you feeling 2 hours into this movie so far?
You owe me fucking cake. You owe me fucking ice cream. You owe me 3 figures from Amazon. You owe me so much. You owe me a fucking Nendroid. You owe me. How much you got in your bank account?
Not a lot. This fucking movie sucks.
Right.
This movie fucking sucks ass. Ass. I gotta tell you, I was watching 2017 on mute of Justice League while we're watching this. This looks infinitely not as good as the other one. It looks bad. The Zack Snyder cut has no fucking color whatsoever goddamn ever. The amount of bullshit that they add in this. Guys, I'm telling you, there's shit that happens 12 minutes into the original Justice League that we don't see until an hour into this one. And you want to know what those things are, by the way, that they added to fucking make this a lot longer? Oh, we gotta see fucking the Flash, Ezra Miller's Flash, just go outside and in slow motion.
Grab a fucking hot dog. What is this, the fucking happening?
Yeah, oh my God. And then, just being absolutely fucking weird. Using his powers in front of regular people all the fucking time. And by the way, every single fucking 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes is a slow-mo. A slow-mo. I made a joke on my Twitter saying, wow, I really like Justice Punch. Dude, there's so much slow-mo. The beginning of the movie, the first 5 minutes as the credits are rolling, is Superman screaming in slow motion in different universes, guys. I am not fucking joking. This movie fucking sucks, dude. And there's 4 hours of this? I got to 2 hours and I had a headache. I was trying not to show Alan how fucking mad I was. But my head literally fucking hurts. I am tired. I am tired of this movie. This movie does not need to be...
That's why I'm such a sour mood, because it just like after this we gotta finish this shit. Because I'm not moving this on tomorrow. I refuse. I'm not moving this on to another fucking day. Like I'm just sitting here just trying to be like, okay, maybe they won't notice that I'm in a sour ass mood because I gotta sit through fucking Justice League again. If you were to put a picture of Justice League Snyder's cut and Whedon's fucking version right next to each other and told me, oh, pick out the differences. It's the same picture. It's the same goddamn picture.
The same fucking thing. And I'm telling you guys, like, there's a couple fight scenes that look a little bit better. I will say, there's some rated R shit where I see, like, limbs being cut off and shit. It's pretty cool. I
Where?
like those. The little fight with the the flashback scene or whatever the fuck, where they had like Shinnok. I call him Shinnok, but Steppenwolf's fucking little fight with the mascara people.
Like,
That's a little bit different. That's cool. But the shit that they added here, except for a couple of CGI scenes, which they're okay, but the Aquaman fight looks pretty much the same. I mean, there's a couple of differences there, which are alright.
I still couldn't see anything going on, so it's the exact same to me.
And there's differences that I will say, like, when they alter the original footage, like, they didn't add anything else, when they do those moments, they're actually worse in the Snyder Cut. Steppenwolf has this fucking voice that sounds like I'm literally underwater. Like, all the horrible shit that was fucking terrible, like on the original, or no, not even the original, honestly, but Aquaman, because everyone's underwater and shit. There's times where fucking Steppenwolf is not underwater, and he talks like he is. He's like, I'm gonna beat your ass.
I know that too, but I thought I was just basically nitpicking like the rest of this movie. I came into this going like, I fucking hated Whedon's Justice League. Let me go ahead and clear my mind and basically go into this not remembering too much from the Josh Whedon's, but just being like, okay, I remember the parts that I hated. Maybe those got taken out. Maybe they got changed around to where they're actually useful. No! It's the same movie. Still, it's the same goddamn movie.
It's the same movie, but with boring shit. It's fucking bad. We haven't gotten to any Jokerisms. Like,
boring. I'm trying my hardest to stay awake while watching this. If you've seen Justice League already, it changes nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah. I'm telling you guys, when people go and they fucking defend this, because I don't know what Corey's rating is going to be. He might think this shit's better or great, whatever the fuck. And I'm not saying...
He might already say it's better than the original, but not by too much. If he says this is a great movie and it actually does way better than Whedon's, I gotta call bullshit. Like, this did not add anything different at all, except some extra scenes for the characters, but it's just like, we didn't need it.
I mean, literally, romantic storylines are not going to go anywhere. Fucking, I mean, they took an hour to get to Aquaman drinking a beer and throwing it in the water, guys, and that was in the first 10 minutes of the original. We got so much stupid fucking shit, man. We got fucking, like, the jokes. There's so many jokes. I thought, Zack Snyder was going to do something here that's like, oh shit, it's going to be more intense and more gritty and more, like, dark, whatever. No, it's just physically more dark, but it's trying to be funny. Why are you still trying to be funny? That was Whedon's thing. I thought you were going to do something different. You're not doing anything different. Fuck, man.
He gave me more scenes with the Flash, and I fucking hate this Flash. I can't stand him. He's so annoying to me. And, like, my Bucci basically clenched the second I saw he appeared again. I'm just like, I'm getting fucking flashbacks. I'm going into the fucking Avatar state right now of anger.
Yeah. I'm telling you, people, it's only 2 hours. This movie, honestly, it's like we're watching another movie next because we're on chapter 5, and they do this in chapters. So I will say I'm going to be as fair as I can, just like Jet's been trying to be fair throughout our entire watch of the movie and now. It could redeem itself because literally we only got to the halfway point. So there could be a tons of other shit going on here, but so far, if the movie just ended right now, this is a fucking 1 out of 5. Like, this is really, really, really bad. I fucking hate this.
Better happen in these last 2 hours. Otherwise, when's that stimulus check hidden? When's your stimulus check hidden?
Yeah. I cannot wait.
Give me the stimulus check. You give me your fucking taxes. I definitely want a cake with strawberries on it. You can go ahead and send that to my house.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, I'm shocked because I really did defend this ahead. Like, when I'm on the show, I'm fair, and I mean, I'll just admit, maybe I'm a little fake. Like, if you ask me legitimately, no, Nick, for real, what's your real opinion? I'll give you the most nicest way of my opinion if it's going to be a negative thing I'm going to say. Sometimes, unless it really earns some bullshit. But, like, with this, I really thought it could be something cool here. I really thought, I was like, wow, you know what, man, if you're trying this hard to fucking do this, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know why I always do this with comic book movies, but I always just try to halfway meet it to like, hey, maybe you're not trying to fuck your audience. Maybe this isn't just a marketing thing that you took advantage of because your fucking fans are so goddamn dumb and so goddamn immature. Maybe your fucking fans won't get abused by you this time, and they fucking did it again. They did it again. I fucking swear to God, I fucking hate these comic book movies, and I hate the fucking fans sometimes. You guys need to fucking realize this is a piece of shit, and please, don't do no Snyder Cut this. When the fucking Suicide Squad comes out with James Gunn, don't be like, oh, this one's better because it's a little bit different. No, when it's bad, say it's bad, so you get some good shit, because right now, you're doing what lots of us wrestling fans did back in the day, where like, back in the day, oh, it's good. No, trust me. No, it's great. You know, The Rock, it's fine. Yeah. We did that, and then all of a sudden, 5 years later, the business drops. No one watches wrestling anymore. We look like a bunch of fucking morons until it gets cool again 10 years later. Like, don't do that. Don't. And gaming people are doing that right now too. Oh, the game came out. Well, since it's a video game, I guess it's good. It's worth buying it ahead of time. Got to fucking pre-order. That's what's happening with this. You guys basically pre-ordered this movie. You already decided, I'm going to get the HBO Max so I can watch this movie when it comes out. And we're all going to pretend like this could possibly be fucking good. So let's all give it a fucking shot. The fact that most people won't know that they hate this until they watch it means that you don't have to like it. Because as long as it came out, just to talk shit about it, you're going to watch it anyways. So you just proved that they can shit on film and fucking give it to you, and you're gonna eat it. So why would they ever change? They will never, ever, ever change because you won't fucking let them. So, yeah, fuck this movie.
I'm just standing outside of whoever asked for this fucking Snyder Cut with the baseball bat. I just want to talk. I literally just want to talk. Like, this was so not needed. Like, it's not different at all. All they did was make the scenes longer. That's literally all they did. It did not add anything different. If this is his vision, it's the exact same fucking movie. Why is this 4 hours? Why did we get a whole, like, 10-minute ass scene with the fucking Ezra Miller's fucking goddamn scene
love
with the
angle.
fucking... Yeah, the fucking dumbass love angle that didn't even need to be in there. Why is this 4 hours? That scene was like, it felt like 10 minutes and added nothing. Nothing. Except it didn't add anything to the character whatsoever.
Yeah. And it is what it is. We'll see what the second half of the movie does, but I will tell you, like, yeah, man, when every scene that could have been 2 minutes is 5 minutes because you got to do the slow-mo, and then, oh, but we got jokes, so let's have this guy go in slow motion, help a girl from a fucking car. By the way, there's like 1,000 people that fucking keep getting in car wrecks because no one can pay attention where the fuck they're driving. You know, it's like, shit like that is so bad.
That was like the third car crash in this whole fucking movie.
Yeah, and
added with slow-mo.
Yeah, and at that point, we're only a quarter into the fucking movie that was happening. So it's like, yeah, slow motion car crashes that don't blow up. Really bad, quick in CGI. When Wonder Woman fought in the same scene she did in 2017, so that's not a spoiler, they literally sped it up to the point where I asked Jet, hey, Jet, did I accidentally put on 2 times speed? Because it was the fakest, silliest, goofiest, commercial quality fucking CGI that I've ever seen in my life. It's worse than anything in Wonder Woman 84. It's worse than anything in 2017's Wonder Woman. And it's worse than anything in the regular Justice League. That fucking Wonder Woman scene in this movie was fucking terrible. And to be honest, I'm so sick of fucking being apologetic to Wonder Woman because fucking women got their stupid superhero movie. Fuck that. Wonder Woman fucking sucks. I'm sorry. She sucks. There's other women's movies that you guys can go watch and support. Don't support this dumb shit. It's fucking stupid. Stupid.
I will say her movie is a lot better than a lot of the other DC movies. God damn, that ain't saying much. Not 84. 84 was trash.
Yeah. The 2017 one.
Well, yeah, we still got 2 hours to go. So far, the whole thing has been beat for beat, and the scenes that are added are just they don't add anything. It's just extending the movie for literally no reason with added slow-mo. The movie's literally just 4 hours with slow-mo.
Yeah. It's fucking bad.
So just like, I highly doubt that the last 2 hours will change what I'm thinking right now because I'm already pissed off. Like, this is already a full-length movie already, and so I'm literally watching another movie. That movies this long are usually up for Oscars, so I'm basically watching 2 Oscar-length movies right now.
And it's Justice League, guys. It's fucking Justice League.
And it's already a movie I hated before, and I'm seeing the same scenes over and over again. I'm getting pissed off.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do it. I might have to quit.
But we are gonna go. I'm gonna bring back Alan. So officially, right now, Jet, if you were to give a rating to the first 2 hours of the movie, what would it be? Because I gave mine a 1. But how about you?
It made me chuckle like at literally because the hot dog scene did make me like go like, huh. That's the only reason why I'm gonna give it a 1.5. Also for the fact like we haven't finished it yet, but for right now, yeah, 1.5.
All right. So no more talking about it. Chat, you can still talk about it. Alan's not gonna look in there, but let me have Alan come back. Alan, come back. But yeah, it was something. Let me see over here. We're gonna look over here at some of the topics. I'm gonna pull up a couple things for Alan to talk about right now. Alan, are you there, good sir? Well, he's not. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe he's taking a shit or something, which makes sense. You know, it's all good. You can take your dumps. Before we continue on, I do want to bring in one thing. I'll ask you about this, Jet, before we talk about the thing I was gonna talk with Alan about. Apparently Fortnite has these new banana Joy-Cons that are coming out, and I don't know why they call them banana because I didn't know bananas are blue. But these look like shit. These look absolutely fucking terrible. I hate them. What are your thoughts on these Joy-Cons?
I'd like to chew on them.
I mean, I don't think that Joy-Con would actually taste very good. I actually would imagine that it would hurt your fucking teeth. But
no, like Gary, you're asking the wrong person. I actually like bright colors like that.
So you're not even fucking around? You actually like these?
Yeah.
Jesus
The
Christ.
Joy-Cons are kind of cool.
Damn, Alan, you popped up like fucking face off fucking Nickelodeon back in the day.
But I was asking what you thought about these because the big question I want to ask about this too is essentially just like, yo, they're coming out with these Joy-Cons. Nintendo Switch has been out for a while. Fortnite's been out for a while. They've been on Switch for a while. Is this a little late to be coming out with some Fortnite Joy-Cons? Do you think they're trying to like squeeze as much as they can out the property before they're about to?
No, he's back.
Oh,
Okay. Wait, my mic was not working. You're asking a question about Fortnite?
No. Essentially, what I was saying is like, yo, do you feel like Fortnite's trying to squeeze the last bit of, I don't know, any kind of value as far as the property goes before they're on their way out? Because for me, I think it's a little late. You know, we've had the Switch since 2017. We've had Fortnite for a while. We've had Fortnite on the Switch. So looking at this, it's like, I feel like they're a little late with this. But what do you think?
No. I mean, Fortnite's not on its way out. Fortnite's going to be a staple for a long time. Like, if Fortnite was on its way out, it wouldn't be consistently getting the crossovers, the new skins, and all that stuff. Dude, the skins there are so elaborate. I almost want to play it to see if I like it to play as some of the characters because I'm like, it to me, nothing's funnier than Ryu with a gun. Like, this man who's a martial arts expert just fires a gun like that to me.
Or him with shoes.
Oh, they put shoes on him? I suppose they didn't go bare feet, but then again...
No, he said that was the funniest thing with him like holding a gun. I find it fun when he has on shoes.
Yes. But no, I mean, then again, branding's like this is going to happen. It's going to be something next year. Like, Fortnite to me, it's like, it's never really going to go away. It's like saying, oh yeah, Call of Duty's going its way. It's like, no, Call of Duty will keep reinventing itself. But the crossovers is what's going to keep it going because every single time, like Star Wars consistently crosses over. All these things, like, I just realized that Kratos is in there and he has a gun.
Yeah, pretty fucking silly. Yeah,
it's weird. I love that game. I'll never play it.
So fucking dumb. But we'll move on from that really quick though, because I do hope at some point we can actually play it on the show. So I don't want to talk too much shit now. But moving on, we're gonna talk about this. This is actually a pretty big story now. So I was looking around for gaming news and I found this post over there at Polygon about the co-creator of both Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed, Jade Raymond. That's her right here. She made an announcement about a new studio called Haven Studios, and it's a partnership with PlayStation. Now the reason why I think this is a pretty big deal is considering the fact that like she is she was with Stadia last year. So that whole, not last year, last month essentially. Because remember we did that topic.
R.I.P. to Stadia.
Yeah, we did that topic on the show. We were talking about like, Stadia's gone. Lots of people are gone. And the thing is, she actually left and took the crew that was with her with Stadia and went over to PlayStation. Yep. I do think that's a pretty cool thing that she's giving other people jobs and shit. I think that's badass. But I will say, though, that, like, I don't think that was a good acquisition on their part. I think it was kind of silly considering the fact that, like, yeah, dude, you guys are having nothing coming out on PS5 right now. You guys don't got shit. And I played the PS5 over there at Jet's house, and I loved it. But I loved it playing a game that I'm playing also right here in my house on the PS4, Black Ops Cold War. So it's like, what the fuck? Like, you guys are buying shit up? I mean, did they do this just to combat Xbox doing that? Because Xbox was doing that for lots of smaller companies. And I feel like PlayStation's like, dude, we gotta get them before Xbox does because these guys might do some good shit for Game Pass, and we're coming up with a way to combat Game Pass literally right now.
I doubt it. I don't think Sony's really worried because they like video games take years to develop. So the fact that Stadia didn't even last long enough for really even pre-developed to start, that it's just like what any idea that they have, they'll just get Xbox wanting to do that. But at the end of it, it's like Sony knows, like when it comes to video games, that what people don't understand is that it takes years for video games to be developed. So that's why we're seeing a lot of crossover PS4, PS5 titles, because it's like, hey, how do you make a game? It's like any studio that makes a game can only really make one per generation before the next game they're going to make. Like for instance, Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn was being worked on, during the completion of Horizon, the first one. The sequel was being made because that's how it works. So they were working with the technology, but they heard along the way, hey, PS5 is going to do it. We'll give you the dev kits at some point. So then they got to switch it all over, and we'll eventually get it. But this whole thing of like, oh, there's nothing to play. It's like, well, no, it's only been a year, and some of the exclusives are coming out this year. It takes time. It takes at least a year or two before things really kick into gear. As far as the acquisition of this company, I think that they just pitched them and they're like, hey, we like your idea. We want it to be PS exclusive. We'll give you 2 years to develop whatever game you were going to work on for Stadia, but now you'll actually have it on a platform people will play it on.
And really quick, Jay, I want to ask you, do you feel like PlayStation is going to have, like, not equivalent, but maybe like an answer to the Xbox Game Pass that's not the PlayStation Now? Because I don't think people are really playing the fuck out of that.
I don't think so.
If they were going to,
do they really even need anything else?
See, that's a good question itself too. Is like, do they need anything else? But like, I'm also curious, like, if they were going to, what do you think? You as a Sony person, because I know you don't like really set your feet into like one fucking company, but I feel like if I had to have you choose, you'd say you're a Sony person, a Sony fangirl, whatever. So it's like, with that, wait, are you more of an Xbox person? Or?
If I had to choose, I'm leaning more toward Nintendo person.
Oh shit! All right.
Why are you surprised by that?
I'm surprised too. I don't know why I'm surprised.
I'm not. I knew that, dude. She plays Animal Crossing like all the fucking time. Talks about all the Pokemon games. Gets bored during every state of play. Like, how is that a surprise that she's Nintendo? I would have guessed that.
Well, because like I don't know. I feel like most of the games that she has spent many hours. Cause, like Fire Emblem, she was cool with that for a month, and then like another game she was cool with that for a month. But like
on the Switch, yeah.
But on PlayStation, it's like Monster Hunter. Fucking. I don't know. I feel like
that's it.
You're kidding. Monster Hunter was on the. I played Monster Hunter on the Nintendo DS.
I know, that's why I stopped talking. I was like, I just realized what I just said. Monster Hunter has been on Nintendo way longer than Sony.
Like that's what I mean. Like she's always been like that. If you ask her which she prefers between those two, sure. But where she puts her flags, like Nintendo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense though, and I'm glad to even hear that because I feel like Nintendo's the best company, but I'm a Sony fanboy. Like, I will defend them when they're fucking up horribly because some of the most amazing experience I've ever had was through PlayStation products like PS2, PS3, etc. So, it is what it is. But I do think that Haven Studios is not the big answer that they are going to have, but they need to accumulate something that's smaller because if they do have like a new, maybe like a PlayStation Mobile, because they already have the app. They could probably put games on and everything too. I feel like they're going to need smaller companies and newer companies. And, with Jade Raymond is a co-creator of Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs, so I feel like that brain and whoever is with her following that brain. Imagine if we had some of the technology, some of the ideas that was from Assassin's Creed and fucking Watch Dogs. Is there a way to make that small scale? Can you put that in a very easy to access
100%. 100%. But the issue is she hasn't made a game that's similar to those. The closest I can think of is they made Splinter Cell: The Blacklist, which was fan-fucking-tastic. But she hasn't really done much since. But they keep hiring her. It's like, oh hey, because EA wanted her to do an Assassin's Creed type game for them, but that never went anywhere because EA is a fucking terrible company. Then Stadia bought her up. I was like, wow, are you gonna do anything? No. But at the end of the day, for people wondering, if a studio gets if Sony or Microsoft acquires a studio now, you're not going to hear anything for 3 years minimum. So that last E3 a couple of years ago, where they acquired like a handful of companies, you'll start seeing the fruits of their labor now. Because any acquisition means they got to switch everything over. Bethesda stuff, like don't expect to hear anything from Starfield or Elder Scrolls 6 for another 2 years minimum, because they're going to have to restart entirely the development. So the exclusives that maybe Xbox has and definitely Sony has, they're already been in the works. They've been in the works for years. Look at Returnal. Returnal has been something they've been working on for a while. That'll either come out this year or next year. They're going to have drop 1 or 2 exclusives per year for the next couple of years. They're already being worked on. Horizon's going to come out at some point. That's going to be another big exclusive. Then they're going to have Final Fantasy Remake at some fucking point. The next Spider-Man game at some fucking point. So it's like, it's going to be like, I expect by next year, by 2022, you're going to start seeing, holy shit, these are some pretty good exclusives.
Yeah, no, I think that's gonna be the case too, and I'm glad that Jet kind of thought, ahead of time and everything with the PlayStation 5, and she's gonna be enjoying herself fucking next year, I'm sure. Like, I mean, you're gonna have a ridiculous amount of good games coming out, but I feel like I just wish these things would happen sooner, because you see all these people buying up these fucking consoles. I already
It's the promise for a better future. It's the industry we live in. When you start supporting an artist that drops a single, you expect the album in a couple months, because even then, it takes a year to make an album. When it comes to a video game, I don't think people really appreciate how long it actually takes to make a game. Minimum 3, and I keep throwing that out because Rockstar takes like 7 years to make a game.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens though. But bravo to Jade Raymond or whatever, and bravo to just fucking people from Stadia actually doing something else that's not so ridiculous with Stadia. Now,
I still have jobs.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe PlayStation will try to do a Stadia.
No, okay, by the way, to answer your question, there is one simple way, extremely simple way, for them to use PlayStation Now and fix all the problems.
What's up?
Let you download the games to your hard drive.
I agree with you. No, I 100% agree with you. But people are going to exploit that, like, really, really
Sure.
bad.
No, they won't, because, again, what does Game Pass do? Game Pass is like, hey, these games are on your whatever the fuck. Download them to your hard drive. You just have to log in and have an internet connection. If you have all that, cool.
But do you think people are already exploiting that? Because I feel like they
No.
are.
I mean, maybe, but Microsoft doesn't give a fuck because they just put a bunch of Bethesda games on there, and they've been running Game Pass for like 3 fucking years, and things have been going well. The thing about PlayStation Now is barely anyone who exists because it's all streaming. So it's not the whole always online, is you have to constantly be using your internet. If that ever fails, it kicks you the fuck out. But if they let you download it to your hard drive, and most PS3 games are like under 20 gigs, so it's not really going to affect too many people's space. But if you're in a situation where it's like, hey, and by the way, keep the option there to stream because there are people that want to stream. But for me, I will never get PlayStation Now because I don't want to stream games. I hate game streaming. Let me download the game to my fucking hard drive. I'll stay always online because I don't fucking mind that. I have no issues with that. And then let me play it essentially on my hard drive where I don't have to worry about making sure my fucking internet doesn't suck up all the internet in my house. Because that's the one reason I'll never get it. Because I've tried to play it, and every time I play it, the fucking everything slows the fuck down, and I get 800 fucking knocks on my door because the entire internet's running at like 2 kilobytes.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying there. But yeah, we'll see what happens though. You tell people about Metropolis Collector because we're about to get the fuck out of here. Tell them.
Alrighty then. So the MoveBot's probably gonna send my Penelope, come down. They're probably gonna send a bunch of there we go. My fucking Facebook. Oh no, that's Nick's Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook and not my Instagram, my Twitter. Follow those. You get notification for the Illuminati podcast, which is currently on hold, but you'll still get the newness and a bunch of stuff that's coming out. We have a schedule that we're going to start pinning to the fucking page, and the arcade, which should drop tomorrow. That's where we talk about video games and multiplayer in general, and just go extremely into depth on that. So drop a like on there so you can tell when we go live. And yeah, just follow me on Facebook and Twitter. That's the best places to reach me.
Oh, yes. Now, with that said, people, the music is going on. We're going to be raiding Curious Harpy. She needs it. I don't know who that is, but Brian, you better tell her to follow us back. And Curious, have you watched us? We go back and check this out. Please follow us. Okay, it doesn't happen enough here. It gets on my goddamn nerves. Anyways, we're going to raid you. So, yeah, people, with that said, thank you. You guys are the shit. He's saying she goes by Nesca. All right, Nesca. Let's see here.
Nesca is in like... No,
I thought he wrote Nebraska at first.
I never want to go with Nebraska. Hi, my name is Nebraska. Why? I chose it. Yelled.
Don't ask for why. Anyways, guys, all right, we're out of here. Goodbye. Take care. Enjoy the raid. Stay close. All that good stuff. Later.